Hey there guys, this is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Toske. I recently had a chance to give that MMO TERA a try because I got an email from them saying, oh, we're going to have the game to where it's free to play up to level 28. Ain't that rad? And I was like, okay, I've got the new computer, so I should probably give this a try because my previous computer just didn't have the space for it. It was like 28 gigabytes to download and install this thing. So, but since I've got the space, because mine has like 500 gigabytes as opposed to the 130 that I was working with before. But I played it and I figured I should give my thoughts on it. Granted, I didn't play it for very long because I just wanted to get like a general impression of it. So yeah, these are just my general impressions of it. To start off with, the character customization is fine. I wish the game had facial hair options for males because, you know, I like to give my guys beards. It had a color wheel so I could give my guy red hair, which was fine. Classes, you know, I feel like a lot of action MMOs tend to kind of gimp the players with the classes. Like, they have really, like, simple classes, and it's fine if they're, like, class advancements, you know. But I'm not talking about, like, just specialized versions of the starting classes. I'm talking about, like, different styles of fighting. Like, almost essentially unlocking new classes that you can't use in other game, and, that you can't start off with. Anywho, I chose the warrior, which was the two swordsman. That's usually the class I choose if I can't do sword and shield. I'll either do like two swords or rarely will I do fists. Like you saw in my Radiant 1 Final Thoughts video, I went with sword and shield for my Japanese file and fists for my second file. But that was just because fists were said to have been the better of the melee classes, which was true. But so I went with two swords, and yeah, made my guy, and I thought it was pretty cool. They gave you a chance to edit your voice as well, which I don't really care that much about in an MMO, since your character doesn't really talk that much. It's not like in like the Rate Mythology games or Dynasty Warriors Empires or any other kind of game where you get to make your own character where your character and like what they say is kind of important. In an MMO, since it's supposed to be an avatar of yourself, or it's supposed to represent yourself in a game, then I don't really care about having voices. But it's nice that they included that. The graphics themselves are fine. They didn't look too impressive on my computer. Of course, I wasn't really running them at really high settings. I didn't even check what settings I was using. But, as for the gameplay itself, TERA kind of was marketed by having like real, you know, console combat, trying to like be like the next Vindictus or something. And I think they did a pretty good job in that regard. There's no auto attack. You can just keep, you know, pressing and, you know, attacking. I think that makes the game more fun, if you ask me, because I honestly don't like auto attack. You know, I talk about disliking turn-based, but what I really hate is auto attack. You know, I don't mind taking turns, but when a game essentially fights for me without my permission, then it's poo-poo. I mean, granted, I tolerate it like I do with, you know, turn-based, because, you know, Final Fantasy, Airton Lico, EverQuest. But anyway, the gameplay in general, I felt like was very console-like. I thought that it was a very nice game to play, you know. It felt like I was playing like some, I don't know, maybe The Elder Scrolls a little bit, but like Skyrim at least, but on like a different, but more geared towards third person than first person. So the gameplay was at least fun. I kind of got tired of it. It was like, okay. because I just wanted to fight a few things just to kind of get a quick feel of it. I didn't use any of my skills that I had because I'm like, I don't, I guess that's one thing about having auto attack, because I feel like you're going to be more prone to use the skills. At least I am, because then I'll be like, oh well, the game's attacking for me, so I can spend more time using my skills. While as in a game like TERA, and really even Dungeons and Dragons Online, I'll just keep attacking. I know I do that in Dungeons and Dragons. I should probably play that again. I started getting farther into the tutorial because I'm actually doing the tutorial this time. But anywho, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the game itself. It was okay. I mean, not really much. I think I mentioned it in another video. That's the whole reason why I'm even doing this one in the first place. Just kind of giving my impressions of it. One thing I did kind of have a problem with was the patching. It took forever. Now, this wasn't like ever... Now, I know, play an MMO for the first time after it's been out for a while. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of patches and you're going to have to wait. But, I don't know. I guess I kind of got spoiled with EverQuest because when I reinstalled it, it didn't take long at all. Like, I was a little surprised because in the past, I would just use the actual disc version that I purchased, and I bought that one, and I would just install that one. But instead I just went for the digital download because, the game's free to play, so I don't have to pay anything extra to download it. I think it's still available for purchase, though, but... So I just did that, and it didn't take long at all. I guess just because they didn't have much to add to it, or maybe if I play it again, they'll patch it again. Maybe just kind of did increments, and I'm pretty sure I think that's what it did last time. But yeah, one thing about TERA, it made me, after playing it, it made me more excited for the Elder Scrolls Online. I actually really want to play that. I saw the introductory video that they did where they showed more of the gameplay. It looked friggin' fun. I really like how they're doing the third-person gameplay. I really want to give it a play. I almost kind of wish it was a first-person game, a console game, like an actual, just a regular game and not an MMO, with multiplayer component with it. Of course, then, if they did a console game, they probably would figure, oh, well, we probably shouldn't do multiplayer then. I feel like that's part of the reason why they're making this, along with to fill in the gaps of the timeline, since Skyrim takes place, what was it, like 1,000 years after, or 400 years after Oblivion? I should probably do that Oblivion commentary at some point. Anyway, but I also think that it's also to kind of appease to the fans who've been craving an Elder Scrolls multiplayer game. There was a multiplayer game one time that focused on combat more than anything else, but didn't sell very well from what I understood. So, but yeah, looking forward to Elder Scrolls Online. I'll probably play it. They said it was going to be pay to play at first, but then go into free to play. So that's at least reassuring, because I wouldn't want to have to pay for it. Free to play is kind of the future for MMOs. I feel like as time goes on, more games like that Rift game wasn't even out for a year, and it already went free to play. And it was trying to be like the next thing to World of Warcraft, which I feel like at this point the only way to really do that is to make a game like TERA. Like, I feel like games like Dungeon Fighter Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online, TERA, Vindictus, all those kind of action-oriented MMOs have a bit of an edge over World of Warcraft because they're different enough, in that they appeal more to the console gamer. And actually, TERA, when I was playing the game, it's like, hey, what kind of game style do you want to play? Do you want to play keyboard and mouse, or do you want to play with a gamepad? And at the bottom said we only support PS3 and Xbox 360 gamepads. I don't know if it would have been able to recognize my PS3 controller without any remote joy drives. I probably should install one of those at some point. But, so I think that not only is free to play the future, on the subject of MMOs, while I'm talking about it, I think that free to play is the future, but also I think action oriented gameplay is the future. Games like Dungeon Fighter Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online, TERA, Vindictus, Continent of the Night, Core Blaze. I heard about this other game called Bless, which I want to give a try when it comes out. Oh, and Wizardry Online. That's one I want to play because I feel like it has such a Demon Souls feel to it, and Sony Online Entertainment is publishing it. So, and just some other, I'd say Dynasty Warriors Online, but that's more of an adaptation. I'd put that in with Dragon Ball Online more than anything else, and Ys Online and Saint Seiya Online, which they are making. Which, if that comes out, you should totally play it with me. We can be great saints who will protect Athena. But, yeah, that's really all I wanted to say about TERA, and just a little quick thing about MMOs. This isn't really supposed to be an update video either, so just kind of giving my thoughts on, TERA. Overall, it was okay. I don't know if I'd call it amazing. I mean, if you want to play it, you're more than welcome to. I think it's definitely worth playing more so than WoW. Honestly, I think WoW is I'll play WoW when it's fully free to play, and I do the same thing for TERA, because I don't like how some MMOs they give you everything from the get-go, and it's free to play, but they say, oh, you can only play when up to like level 20 or 28. Like, EverQuest doesn't do that, I think that's kind of dumb, because then, I mean, yeah, you have access to everything, but you're halting the amount of time you can play. Because once you hit that level, you're going to have to start paying. Otherwise, you're just going to have to stop playing altogether. Like with EverQuest 2, yeah, they don't give you all the classes and races off the bat. You have to get them in a cash shop, or get a silver account where you just have to pay like one fee, which I probably should do that. They still have the gold membership where you pay a monthly fee, but at that point, why would you? Or Dungeons and Dragons Online, where they take away the classes or some of the classes, and no, I think they keep all the classes. They take away some of the races, like if you want to be a Drow elf, or in my case, Dark elf. Or Drow, sorry. If you want to be a Drow elf, which is essentially a dark elf, then you have to, buy them in the cash shop, which I did, because I wanted a fucking dark elf. Yeah, that game, or I heard that one in particular does have like a level cap in that sense. In the sense of literally capping the amount of time you can play the game. It's literally a level cap. So that's something that I think needs to go. Either be free to play or don't. Don't try to make some stupid hybrid. I mean, cash shop's fine. Subscription versions for those who want to access everything from the get-go without having to go through the cash shop. That's fine too. I personally think you should have like a free-to-play version, then like a subscription version. Don't try to like mix and match. And have like one where, you either buy everything, buy a bunch of stuff in the cash shop, or you just have everything from the get-go. I wouldn't like do like although, buy to play, I don't really mind either. Like Guild Wars is that, where you just buy it once and you can play it for the rest of the time. And the Old Republic's going free to play relatively soon if it hasn't already. So it's pretty clear that free to play is the future. Heck, even WoW is free to play, but they do the whole free to play to level 20, which I think is stupid. I don't know. I guess it makes sense for someone like me because I rarely max characters. In fact, you want to know a secret? I've never actually maxed a character. I think the highest level character I've had was at dungeon fighter online. I think where my main guy was like 23 or something. I think my EverQuest guy might be beating him a little. I don't know. Really can't remember. And of course, if Elder Scrolls Online comes out, I'm going to be playing the crap out of that one, or at least trying to. And of course, with Dynasty Warriors Online, there's no real level system. Instead, you have like a ranking system, which I just went through the tutorial. Nothing really else. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about TERA. Overall, not a bad game. I do think the whole play for free up to level 28 is stupid. I do like how they at least increased it to close to 30 because I feel like that's a little more reasonable than at 20. Yeah. So that's really all I have to say about it. If you had any interest in TERA and looking for someone to, tell you is it good or not, I'd say not bad. You might like it if you like action games. Like if you don't like the MMOs like EverQuest or WoW where it's auto attack, then this will be a good game for you. While we're on the subject, you want to know something even dumber? How Final Fantasy XIV threw in auto attack. I'm thinking, why would you do that? Like, I don't care if you have auto attack and you can turn it off. I mean, EverQuest has a feature like that, except it's a little misleading. All it really does is just change it to where your character will go into auto attack automatically. And so you'll have to like do something. I don't know. It's weird. No, I don't think EverQuest has it. It has a feature where you can turn it off, but that's only if you want to stop fighting. But Dragon Age had an auto attack thing like that, except that one I think worked. Because you could turn it off if you wanted to play auto attack, but if you didn't want to play auto attack, you could turn it off. So, yeah. Honestly, no, that's it. Auto attack except for the mages. And I'm thinking, I don't care if it's an MMO or not. I'm not going to play a fucking mage. I'm sorry. That's not my thing. I prefer melee. So I think that was kind of dumb for them to throw in auto attack. That's just me. But sorry for ranting, but anyway. That's it for TERA. New video should be coming up pretty soon. I think you guys might like it, maybe. And of course a new commentary at some point, and I'll yeah, that's pretty much everything. So, I'm recording this before Thanksgiving, and so with that said, this is Flamesron, aka YouTube Sasuke, signing out. Happy Thanksgiving, and be sure to eat a lot of food and get really fat like me. Actually, no, you shouldn't get fat. You should stay at a reasonable... Don't get skinny, don't get fat, just stay at like a good weight for you. Whether it be a little chunky or a little smaller, whatever works for your build. Isn't that a great thing to hear from one of your favorite YouTubers telling you not to be fat and not to be skinny, but to be your weight class? Anyway, see you guys later.